My sister sent a mass email. My brother's getting desperate. He's offering to pay for family dinners now, with laughing emojis. CC to 40+ relatives. I replied all. Correction, I've been paying for the past 7 years through the family fund. Here are the bank statements. When they realized every holiday, birthday, and vacation was funded by me. My name's Mark. I'm 33, the oldest of 3, and I'm the one everyone calls when something breaks. Not the fun, fix the Wi-Fi kind of breaks. The dad's card declined at the pharmacy kind. I work in IT. Nothing fancy, just stable. I'm married, no kids yet, and I'm the person in my family who has it together. Which is family code for, you can take a little more weight, right? My sister Jenna is 31. Loud. Social. Loves an audience. If there's a family story, she's the narrator. My brother Kyle is 29. Charming in the way that makes older relatives say, he's just a free spirit. Which is also family code for, he will not pay you back. Last Sunday, I drove to my parents' house for my mom's birthday dinner. Nothing huge. Just my parents, my siblings, a cake from the grocery store, and the same old fight hiding under polite smiles. I walked in with a bottle of cheap wine and the card my wife made me buy. Jenna was already there, perched on the counter, scrolling her phone like she was on a talk show. Kyle was at the table, leaning back in his chair, telling my dad a story with big hand motions. He had that grin on, the one that says he's winning even if he's losing. My mom hugged me and whispered, "Try not to start anything tonight." That should have been my cue to turn around. We ate. We did the housework small talk. My dad complained about gas prices. My mom cut the cake too early, like she always does. Then Jenna's phone dinged and she laughed, not a cute laugh. The kind that's half cough, half mean. She turned her screen toward Kyle. "Oh my God," she said. "Kyle, you're really doing it." Kyle looked proud. "Doing what?" Jenna read out loud like she was announcing a prize. "Your brother's getting desperate. He's offering to pay for family dinners now." She added sound effects. Little giggles. Then she looked straight at me. "Mark," she said, all fake sweetness. "Don't worry. The baby brother is stepping up. You can stop acting like the family credit card." I blinked. "What are you talking about?" Kyle lifted his chin. "I said I'd cover dinners sometimes. It's called being a man." My mom clapped once, like he'd just graduated. "That's so nice, Kyle," she said. "See? He's learning." I felt my face get hot, but I kept my voice calm. "Learning what?" I asked. "How to make a speech." Jenna rolled her eyes. "Here we go?" Mark can't let Kyle have one good moment. Kyle's grin got wider. "Why are you mad?" he said. "You always make it about money." I stared at him, then at my parents, then back at Jenna, who was already typing again, thumbs flying, like she couldn't wait to tell the story. And that's when I realized something. This wasn't just a dumb comment. They were building a new version of the family narrative right in front of me. One where Kyle was the hero, Jenna was the comedian, and I was what? The bitter guy who kept score. I swallowed hard, because I knew exactly what was coming next. Not tonight, not at the table, but soon. And it was going to hit my inbox like a brick. Here's the part one never told most people because it sounds stupid when you say it out loud. For 7 years, my family had a thing called the family fund. It started after my dad got laid off from a warehouse job and my mom had medical bills stacking up. I was 26 and newly married. My wife, Lena, and I were living in a one-bedroom apartment with a couch that smelled like old pizza. My dad called me and said, "Just until we get back on our feet." He sounded embarrassed. I remember him clearing his throat like he was choking on pride. "We're not asking for charity," he said. "We're asking for family." I sent money. No drama. No speech. Just helped. Then Kyle got into a rough patch, which meant he quit a job because his boss disrespected him, then leased a car anyway. Then Jenna needed support because her rent went up and she didn't want to move because it would hurt her mental health. Then there were birthdays, holidays, just this once vacations. At some point, my mom started calling it the family fund like it was normal. "Can you put a little extra in the fund this month?" she'd say, like she was asking me to bring paper towels. It wasn't a shared account. It was me transferring money to my mom. Every month. Sometimes extra. And the worst part? They were so casual about it. My mom would text, "Kyle's phone bill is due. Can you cover it from the fund?" My dad would call, "We're taking the cousins out for dinner. It would mean a lot if you chipped in." Jenna would send Venmo requests with emojis. Literally. $1.20 for grandma's cake and decorations. Kyle never asked me directly. He didn't have to. He'd just show up and enjoy whatever was paid for. And any time I hesitated, the guilt came fast. My mom. I guess family doesn't matter once you get married. My dad. We didn't raise you to be selfish. Jenna. Wow. Must be nice to have money and not care. Kyle. Bro, relax. You're always so dramatic. So I paid. Again and again. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself it was love. I told myself it was easier than fighting. Lena hated it. Not in a controlling way. In a this is not normal way. She'd watch me sit on the edge of the bed, bank app open, doing the math. She'd say, Mark, what are we doing? And I'd say, it's just for now. Just for now became 7 years. Here's what that money paid for, off the top of my head. Every family birthday dinner at that mid-range Italian place my mom loves. 2 beach trips where Kyle posted photos like he was a provider. Jenna's emergency car repair that magically included new tires and a stereo. My parents' anniversary weekend that my dad later told people Kyle helped plan. Holiday groceries when my mom insisted on hosting because it's tradition. I wasn't rich. I just wasn't drowning. And in my family, if you're not drowning, you're obligated to throw your life raft to everyone else. The problem wasn't even the money at first. It was the way they treated it like I was a machine. No thanks. No respect. Just expectations. Then Kyle started running his mouth more. At gatherings he'd joke, Mark's got it. He's the responsible one. People would laugh. Jenna would add, he's basically dad number 2. My dad would smile like it was a compliment. And the longer it went on, the more I felt like a sucker watching my own life get quietly drained. I started keeping receipts. Not because I planned revenge. Because I was getting scared. There were months I'd look at our savings goal, the one Lena and I had for a house, and I'd realize we were behind. Again. Because my family needed just one more thing. So I made a spreadsheet. Simple. Date, amount, note. I started downloading bank statements and saving them in a folder called Family on my laptop. Lena saw it once and said, that folder name makes me nervous. I said, it's just in case. I didn't know what in case meant yet. Then came the shift. Kyle started dating a new girlfriend who had a big family. The kind that does Sunday brunch and matching shirts and actually pays their own bills. Suddenly Kyle was embarrassed about being seen as broke. So he started acting like a provider in public. He'd offer to pay for things, loudly. He'd make sure everyone heard. But privately, nothing changed. My mom still texted me about the fund. Jenna still requested money. Kyle still showed up empty-handed. It was all performance. And apparently, Jenna decided that performance was hilarious. 2 days after my mom's birthday dinner, I was at my desk at work, eating a sad salad, when my phone buzzed. New email. From Jenna. Subject line, family LOL. My stomach dropped before I even opened it. Because I knew Jenna. If she had an audience, she was going to use it. And when I clicked, I saw she'd CC'd over 40 relatives. Cousins. Aunts. Uncles. People I hadn't spoken to since high school. And right there at the top, in Jenna's words. My brother's getting desperate. He's offering to pay for family dinners now. I stared at the screen. My hands went cold. Because I understood the game instantly. Kyle was trying to rewrite history. And Jenna was helping him. And I was about to be the villain in the group story if I stayed quiet like I always did. I didn't reply right away. I just sat there. My coworker walked past and said, "You good?" I said, "Yeah," like a liar. I opened the email again. Read it slower. Jenna added extra lines, like she was doing a stand-up routine. He's telling Mom he'll handle it now. Guess Mark won't have to babysit anymore LOL. Kyle's finally becoming a man. Everyone clap. Then people started replying. Not to me. To the thread. My aunt, so proud of Kyle. My cousin, about time. Some random uncle. Mark always acted like he was better than everyone. That one hit me in the chest. Because that's what they thought. That I was stingy. That I was controlling. Not that I'd been quietly paying for half the family's life. Lena called me on lunch break. I didn't even say hello right. I said, Jenna blasted me in an email. Lena went quiet for a second. Then, do you want to ignore it? I looked at the spreadsheet. The folder. The years. I said no. I opened my bank app. Then my laptop. Then the statement downloads. 7 years is a lot of paper. But patterns are easy. Same transfer. Same description. Same dates. I attached screenshots first. Then I realized screenshots can be called fake. So I attached PDFs. I wrote a reply. I kept it short because if I wrote from anger, it would turn into a novel. I typed, replying all for clarity. Correction, Kyle is not starting to pay for family dinners. I've been paying through the family fund since 2018. Attached are bank statements showing monthly transfers and additional holiday/event payments. If the family wants to keep doing paid dinners and trips, we can discuss a shared plan going forward. But I won't be the silent fund anymore. My finger hovered over send. I could literally hear my mom's voice. Why are you doing this publicly? You're embarrassing us. But Jenna had already made it public. So I clicked reply all. Send. For about 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then my phone started lighting up like a fire alarm. Mom calling. Dad calling. Kyle texting. Jenna texting. And the email replies started coming in, one after another, like popcorn. My aunt. Wait, what is this? My cousin. Mark, you paid for the beach trip? Someone else. Is this real? Another aunt. I thought Kyle paid for Thanksgiving last year. Kyle texted me. Dude, why would you do that? Jenna, you're so petty. It was a joke. My mom left a voicemail. I listened to it once, and my jaw clenched so hard my teeth hurt. Mark, call me right now. This is not how family handles things. You're making us look bad. My dad's text was shorter. Take it down. Like I had posted a meme. Kyle called next. I answered because I wanted to hear him try. He didn't even say hello. He said, "What is wrong with you?" I laughed, but it wasn't funny. I said, "What's wrong with me?" Kyle snapped. "You made me look like a bum." I said, "Then stop living like one." Silence. Then he went lower. "You always do this," he said. "You always need credit." I felt my chest tighten. "I never wanted credit," I said. "I wanted you all to stop acting like I don't exist until the bill comes." Then Jenna jumped onto the call like she'd been waiting. "You're ruining the family," she said. "Grandma's going to see this." I said, "Grandma was CC'd by you." Jenna, "It was a joke." I said, "Jokes are supposed to be funny." My mom grabbed the phone. Her voice got sharp. "Mark," she said, "you're acting like we stole from you." I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I said, "You didn't steal. You took. And I let you. That's on me. But it stops now." The next 72 hours were chaos. The email thread turned into a live reality show for our extended family. Relatives who never spoke to me suddenly had questions. My cousin Brett. "So, you really paid for Mom and Dad's anniversary thing?" My Aunt Denise. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" An uncle I barely knew. "This is inappropriate to share finances." That last one made me laugh. Where was that energy when Jenna was publicly mocking Kyle and dragging my name? My parents came over to my house the next evening without asking. Like it was their right. Lena was in the kitchen, arms crossed. I could tell she'd been holding her tongue for years, and now she was done. My mom walked in first, acting wounded. "You humiliated Kyle," she said. My dad didn't sit down. He stood near the hallway like he might leave if things got uncomfortable. Jenna and Kyle came too. Because of course they did. Kyle wouldn't look at me. Jenna looked at everything in my house, like she was taking mental notes. My mom started crying almost immediately, but it was the controlled kind. The kind she uses to steer the room. "We didn't know you were keeping score," she said. I said, "I wasn't keeping score. I was keeping evidence." My dad finally spoke. "Why?" I looked at him. "Because every time I tried to talk about it, you shut me down," I said. "Or you guilt me. Or you laughed." So I started documenting. Jenna scoffed. "You make it sound like we forced you." Lena stepped in, calm but icy. "You did," she said. "Maybe not with a gun, but with pressure and shame." Jenna rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, Lena, stay out of it." Lena didn't blink. "No." Kyle finally found his voice. "Okay," he said. "So you paid. Congrats. You want a medal?" I stared at him. "This isn't about a medal," I said. "It's about you letting people think you were paying while I was funding everything." Kyle snapped. "I never said you paid." I turned my laptop toward him. "Open the spreadsheet. Dates. Amounts. Notes. Holidays. Trips." I pointed. "Thanksgiving 2022, I said. "Who told everyone you handled dinner?" Kyle's face went red. "I bought a turkey." Lena laughed once. "Short. Mean. A turkey doesn't cover the entire grocery bill," she said. My mom tried to take back control. "We're a family," she said. "We help each other." I nodded. "Yes, we do. That's why I helped. For years." Then I leaned forward. "But here's the difference," I said. Helping is voluntary. Expecting it is entitlement. My dad's jaw tightened. So what now? You're cutting us off. I said, I'm ending the family fund. My mom's crying stopped like a faucet. What? She said. I'm done paying a monthly transfer. I repeated. If there's an emergency, you can ask like adults. And I'll decide case by case. But the automatic payments are over. Jenna laughed like I was being dramatic. You can't just do that, she said. I looked her dead in the face. Watch me. Kyle shifted. So what? Now we just don't do dinners. Lena answered before I could. Then don't do dinners, she said. If you can't afford it. My mom's eyes got wide. Offended like Lena just cursed it in church. We can afford it, my mom said quickly. I didn't argue. I just opened my bank app and showed them the last transfer. My mom stared at the number like it was a ghost. My dad's shoulders dropped slightly. And for the first time, I saw something close to reality in his face. Not gratitude. Not apology. Just, oh, this was real. Then came the scramble. My mom tried the guilt angle. We sacrificed for you growing up. I said, you did what parents are supposed to do. She switched to anger. You're punishing us. I said, no, I'm protecting myself. Kyle tried bargaining. Okay, he said. Maybe we can split it. Like, you still put in something in aisle. Jenna cut him off. Kyle, shut up. Then she turned to me. You're enjoying this, she said. You love being the martyr. I shook my head. I hate this, I said, and my voice cracked a little. I hate that it took public embarrassment for anyone to look at the truth. My dad finally sat down. He rubbed his face with his hands. Your mother shouldn't have called it a fund, he muttered. My mom snapped at him. Don't start. I stared at them. This was the real dynamic. Dad passive. Mom controlling. Jenna performing. Kyle coasting. And me, financing. I took a breath and kept it simple. This is what's happening, I said. No more monthly money. No more covering group dinners. No more surprise family vacations that I'm expected to subsidize. My mom asked, very quietly now. So what are we supposed to do? I shrugged. What you did before you had my bank account, I said. That should have been the end. It wasn't. Because once you stop being an ATM, people get angry like the machine is broken. Over the next few weeks, the fallout spread. Relatives started choosing sides. Some apologized. My Aunt Denise called me and said, I'm sorry. I honestly thought Kyle was paying. Jenna made it sound that way. I said, yeah, that was the point. Other relatives acted like I'd committed a crime. One cousin messaged, money changes people. I didn't even reply. I wanted to say no. Money reveals people. Kyle tried to salvage his image by actually paying for a couple dinners. Guess what happened? He picked cheap places, complained the whole time, and made a giant show of it. At one dinner he stood up and said, I got it. Then he whispered to Jenna, not quietly. Do you think Mom can Venmo me later? Lena and I left early. My parents called less. When they did, it was weird. Like they were auditioning to be nice. My mom would say, how are you doing, honey? In a voice I didn't recognize. My dad asked about my job. Actual questions. Like he was meeting me for the first time. It would have been touching if it wasn't so obvious why. Because reality hit fast. Without my monthly transfer, my parents started fighting about bills. Kyle started needing help again, but now he had to ask directly. And he hated that. Jenna tried to spin it socially. She posted a family dinner photo with the caption, when family supports family. People commented hearts. I looked at the photo carefully. They were at a diner. Not the Italian place. Not the steakhouse. Not the nice birthday dinners I used to quietly pay for. And the funniest part? Kyle wasn't even smiling. He looked exhausted. Because pretending to be a provider is easy when someone else is paying. When you're actually paying, it stops being cute. A month after my reply all, my mom texted me. Can you just send a little something? We're short this month. I stared at it for a long time. My old reflex kicked in. The guilt. The be the good son instinct. Then I remembered Jenna's laughing emojis. The aunt calling me better than everyone. Kyle yelling that I made him look like a bum. I typed back. What changed from last month? My mom replied. Everything is more expensive. I answered. Then adjust your spending. The fund is over. She didn't respond for 2 days. Then she sent. Okay. No apology. Just okay. But here's what shocked me. I felt lighter. Not happy. Not triumphant. Just lighter. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't waiting for the next request. I wasn't checking my phone with dread. Lena noticed before I did. One night she said, You're sleeping better. I nodded. I didn't realize how much I was bracing all the time, I admitted. We started putting the money we used to send into our savings. We started doing normal couple things without a shadow behind it. Like buying a new mattress without hearing my mom's voice in my head saying, "Must be nice." And slowly, the family culture shifted. Not because they learned a moral lesson, because the free ride ended. Carl stopped coming around as much. Jenna got quieter in the group chat. My parents stopped hosting big dinners because they couldn't float it. And I started realizing something that hurt, but also freed me. A lot of what we called family traditions were just things I paid for. When the money stopped, the tradition stopped. That told me everything I needed to know. It's been about 6 months since the reply all. The world didn't end. My family didn't collapse into a dramatic movie scene. But the truth settled in like dust after something breaks. Carl still acts like I attacked him. Jenna still tells people I'm intense. My mom still avoids the topic like it's a stain on the carpet. My dad, weirdly, has been the most changed. He doesn't apologize directly, but he stopped assuming. Last week he called and said, "We're thinking of doing a small dinner for your mom's birthday. We can handle it. Just wanted to invite you." No mention of money. Just an invite. I said, "Okay, we'll come." And when we showed up, it was simple. Homemade food. No fancy restaurant. No big performance. Carl didn't offer to pay. Jenna didn't crack jokes. Everyone ate. Everyone went home. It was normal. I didn't realize how much I'd been craving normal. Here's the moral, if you want one. If you're only valued when you're useful, you're not being loved. You're being used. And boundaries aren't cruelty. They're clarity. I used to think saying no would make me the bad guy. Turns out staying quiet made me the easiest guy to exploit. That reply all wasn't me being petty. It was me refusing to be rewritten into the family story as the stingy one while everyone else took credit for what I funded. Now the rule is simple. No automatic money. No guilt payments. No family fund. If someone asks for help, they ask like an adult, and I decide like an adult. And if they punish me for saying no, that tells me the relationship was never about me. Lena put it best the other night when we were updating our savings numbers. She said, "You didn't break your family. You just stopped being their budget." Yeah, that's exactly it.